Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Life on the Film Set podcast. My name is Nick Payne, and this is
George Arthur.
This is George Arton, a very good friend of mine. And this is a podcast about
How to work on a film set
and
how to get better at it.
how to be great at it,
Yes.
how to manage complex relationships, how to become part of a team and
And work together.
work together and do
Yep.
great things. Cool. So this is our third episode,
Yes.
other than our introduction.
Yes.
And today on the table,
We are the camera. We have
so we've got the Genaflex, which is a
film camera.
film camera made in the German Democratic Republic, so i.e. in East Germany before the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Wow.
And in the early 1980s. So I found that on the shelf of a photography shop.
It's an interchangeable lens as well.
Yep.
Oh,
So
lovely.
that's got a very beautiful 20
mil
lens on it.
Nice.
Carl Zeiss Jenner lens.
Beautiful.
So I've got a small set of those
Yep.
that I adapt to cinema cameras
Nice.
as well. They're very cool. So that goes back on the table. I was
Yes.
saying I found that on the shelf of a shop in a country Queensland town.
What?
Brand new, been sitting there for like 20 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, bought it straight off the shelf.
Nice. And it's still working condition.
No, it's not working anymore.
Okay. Nothing. Okay.
It's the shutter speed is not adjusting.
Okay.
And my worry is that there's some corrosion on the circuit board,
Okay.
and you just can't get parts.
Copy that.
So if you can find another one,
Then you can just replace the parts.
then you can use that as a donor.
Of course.
But
yes.
that's not what we're here for.
No.
Let's move on. So let me recap what we've covered so far.
Yes,
In episode 1, we talked about leading and following.
that's right.
And we talked particularly about the idea of using intent as a way of doing that.
Yes.
So going, as a leader, this is the outcome I intend to achieve.
Yep.
And then as a follower, having heard that, you go, cool, having heard that, therefore my intent is I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to help
Yep.
you achieve that. And then as a leader, you go, great, that sounds good,
Yes.
go for it. If you haven't listened to that episode, do, because it's good. And then in the last episode, we talked about the flow of work.
That's right.
So a technique to kind of understand how the work of different departments connect together and to use that information to try and optimize the flow of work from department to
Yes.
department so that you can keep moving and not have people sitting around,
Yes.
twiddling their thumbs
Doing
and doing
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're waiting.
Yes.
And so that's pretty cool stuff too. Now, at the end of that episode, I said that the next episode we'd talk about estimation,
Yeah.
but we're not going to. Let's do that next episode.
Sure.
What I'd really like to talk about this episode is innovation.
Innovation. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. How do you create an environment where innovation occurs?
Yeah.
So, to start us off, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah. Sure. Please.
Which is to tell us about a set that you were on recently
Yes.
for a children's television
Yes.
show.
American.
American.
Yes. That was a crazy. It was a 6-day shoot,
Yep.
and we were doing 50 pages a day.
50 pages a
yes.
day. That's incredible.
So, basically, it was no quality, just quantity because of it's a kid show. It's very basic.
Yep.
Because a lot of young kids, you can't control as much because they're always moving.
Yeah.
So
fidgeting.
basically, the director was fantastic. He knew exactly what shots he wanted.
Yep.
And then we did a lot of plates.
Okay.
So it's especially the 4 or 5-year-old kids.
Okay.
So we did just plates. So he did his line.
Yep.
And then the second kid, he did her line, for example.
And
then they will put them in,
together in post.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that. And then in our side, we had like very small lighting package. Like we used just tubes,
Okay.
like nanolight tubes,
Yep.
MCs.
Yeah.
Only like 2 days we used the 600
Yep.
because we were in a school.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And yeah, like otherwise it's just very small like lighting, just yeah.
Bam,
It
bam,
was
bam,
bam,
bam.
just very
There
quick.
you go. So let me ask you the question: were these guys good at what they did?
Absolutely. The director was fantastic. He knew how to cut like what's
Yep.
the After Effects is gonna be like special effects,
Yeah.
all of that. You know,
Yeah.
he knew exactly in his head.
Okay. How
It
he's
will
gonna
work.
do it.
It's like let's move on. Like max was 2 takes.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, max was like 3 takes max.
Okay.
1 take, 2 take, done.
Yeah.
Next.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. 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 Okay. Cool. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it was very quick, fast. The last day of that shoot,
Yeah.
65 pages.
Holy moly, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay, let me ask you about
Sure.
another film that neither of us worked on.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Unfortunately, would love to have.
We would love to, yeah.
But we've both seen the film.
I haven't, sorry.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't. I heard of it, but I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm talking about Oppenheimer.
Okay.
Right. So you
I
haven't
heard a lot
seen
of
Oppenheimer.
good things about it, of
Yeah.
course.
So if this kids program was shooting 50 pages a day, how many pages a day do you think Christopher Nolan was shooting on Oppenheimer?
I would say maybe 3, 4 pages.
Okay. Okay.
Depends on what the scale of that scenes are.
Yeah, of course.
Like if there's a lot of action involved. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it. Like
Yeah.
how much was like actiony or things
Yeah.
like scenes in that Oppenheimer, but I would say 3, 4 pages.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is lots of dialogue.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of special effects,
Yes.
which were done practically
Yep.
in camera.
Yep.
We were also at the Australian Cinematographers Society
Yes.
headquarters in Sydney here last week.
Yes, we were, yep.
And there was like a top of the game first AC there.
Yes.
Who was talking about working on the Matrix. Yeah. And talking about the scene where they're in the foyer of a building, they come in, so they go, we need guns, lots of guns.
Yes.
And then they go into the foyer of this building and there's security there and they start going, and there's like
Yes.
squibs on the wall blowing up and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Do you remember how long he said it took them to shoot that?
I think it took them about 3.5 weeks
3.5 weeks, yeah.
for 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes, something like that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah. So if you ask them the question, how many pages a day were you shooting?
It was like 1 page.
It was one
One
page a
se-
week.
Week, yeah.
So it was like 1/7 or 1/5 of a page
Exactly.
a day. Yeah.
Basically, that's just like it's a one scene. So
Yeah.
scene is a 1 page.
Yep.
So like basically it's a 1 page
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for 3.5 weeks
3.5 weeks to get
to get that
3
specific
minutes of screen time.
action gun scene.
Yeah.
You know,
And it looks amazing.
absolutely.
Like it's also a great moment in the film. Like it's a
Yes.
good beat.
It's one of the best scenes in that
Yeah.
like gunfight. You know,
It's not just gratuitous.
Yeah.
It's part of the story. So I'll tell you why I ask you those
Sure.
questions. So what I want to do is to introduce this idea that everything we do, everything we do in film and and really every endeavor of life, occurs on a spectrum.
yeah,
And one end of the spectrum is speed,
yep,
and the other end of the spectrum is innovation and
Yes.
creativity, doing something new. And you can be at this end of the spectrum, which is about speed, and you can be really, really good at
Yes.
that,
Yes.
right? You can create a whole lot of value by being able to do things fast and generate quantity.
That's right.
Yeah. You can also be at the other end of the spectrum, the innovation end,
Yes.
as I like to call it, and be concentrating on what you might call quality
Yes,
and produce a lot less volume,
yes,
but produce a different type of value.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like say, the kid show, they're not gonna get nominated for Oscar.
No.
No, but Oppenheimer, it is,
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
they have nominated.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
That is the difference.
And
But
then yeah,
the kids show are going to make a lot of money.
oh, absolutely, because kids will love it. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
what's the name? It's a metaverse, story.
Okay. Yeah,
So they
nice.
have powers, like kind of Harry Potter
Yeah.
style of TV show.
Yeah. Cool.
Kids have powers.
Yeah. So I guess the thing that I want to be really clear about here is that both ends of those spectrums are about greatness, being really, really
Yes.
good at what you do. And it is okay to be at the quantity end.
Yes.
Right? You can create a lot of value,
Yep.
which is realized in money.
Yes.
We created a lot of content. We sold a lot of content,
Yep.
cheaply. We made it cheaply. We sold it cheaply.
Yes.
But because we made so much, we made a lot of money out of
Yeah.
that. That is that's greatness. That is a form of greatness, and it is a form of value.
Yes.
People
Absolutely.
can make a living
Absolutely.
out of that. At the innovation end, is also about greatness and also about creating a lot of value, but it's a different type of value.
Value. Exactly. Exactly.
The one place you don't want to be
In the middle.
is in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, because the middle is, well, we're not particularly fast, and what we create is not particularly innovative or
Yeah.
or interesting.
Just the basic.
Yeah, just the basic. So if I was to ask you, you've worked at that quantity end.
Yep.
Like if you had a preference of which end you'd like to be at.
For experience, I would love to be on the other side, like Oppenheimer
Yeah.
level of production,
Yeah, yeah,
in camera department.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess the other frame here is if you go in 50 years' time,
Yes.
what's going to be remembered? Oppenheimer.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Oppenheimer.
Of course.
Without a question.
Without question, yes.
And so, so I guess the point that I want to make here is I think so often, particularly in Australia where budgets are constrained,
Yeah.
we kind of get caught between these two extremes. And we want to be kind of up here in the innovation space.
Yes.
But we go, there's not enough money. We need to move fast. But we're not at the other end where we're really, really
Yeah.
good at moving
And
fast.
that's one of the reasons. Then you have to compromise a lot of things
Yeah.
because of money or instrument,
Yeah.
So it's like, so you can't do the innovative things because of that. So you just gotta push through it,
Yeah.
and whatever is like just to get it, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
and often whether something is of good quality is about is the script any good?
Yes.
Is the underlying
that's right.
idea
It comes to the script. Yes.
good rather than is the execution of the script good? It's about not screwing up the script, not
Yes.
destroying it, but it's not necessarily about how do we take a great script and make it even better by combining it with great performances, great visuals,
Yes.
great effects, great art, great
Exactly.
everything. So I guess where that leads me is how do you so if you're looking at that spectrum, and this is the very first point I want to make.
Yeah.
Like you're planning a production, and I don't know whether you're producer, line producer, whatever, you're planning the production.
Yep.
I think the very first thing you need to do is to be aware that this spectrum exists and decide where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? To go, is this about just quantity
Pushing through. Yeah.
or is this about innovation?
Yes.
If you decide that this is about innovation, then the question is, what can I do to create an environment where innovation can occur?
Yep.
And so that's what I want to talk about
Sure.
today.
Sure.
And fundamentally, there are two things. And I'm going to look at my notes
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah. Sure. Please do. Please do.
which means putting my glasses on as well.
That's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, of course, we've asked, you ask the question yourself, where do you want to be? And you go, so there are two two things. Two things you need to grapple with and provide for if you want to create an environment where innovation occurs, and where you want to take, we're making this production. We want to innovate so that the quality of what we delivers is really groundbreaking and grabs people's attention, and therefore we maximize the amount of dollar return we get on this, because people are like, you've got to see this thing.
It's very good.
It's incredible. It's, Oppenheimer, I don't know what the budget for that was.
I'm sure like 200 something million.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's Christopher Nolan director. Easily 200 something.
But the year before, what was the standout film? Everything,
everywhere at once. Yeah,
all at once.
That's right.
That
was amazing.
Much smaller budget, but yet they achieved a similar level of innovation on a smaller budget. So here is the first thing that you need to do in thinking about how do we create innovation. First thing is you need to realize, and you need to account for in your planning, that the only way that innovation can occur is through failure.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll tell you what I mean, and I'll do a bit of a roundabout explanation.
Sure. Please,
you've
fine,
probably gotten used to by now. So there's this Welsh guy called Dave Snowden, who's a really super smart dude, and he has this framework which he calls the Cynefin framework. Cynefin is a Welsh word meaning habitat.
Okay.
And if I really quickly kind of describe what it looks like, because there's this diagram for it. And if you imagine you've got a square that is broken up into four quadrants, and you start on the bottom right and you go around anti-clockwise. So you go bottom right, top left, bottom left. So in the bottom right, the quadrant is called the clear quadrant. And what that is the type of work that has been done before, and it's really obvious how to do that work. So this has been done before. There is best practice. We know how to do this. Let's just get on and do this. And that's your quantity area where you guys is about, man, let's pump this shit out. So we know how to do this.
We know how to do it, exactly.
And all we need to concentrate on is just being really, really good at producing this. We're not necessarily creating anything that anybody else has done before.
But it's just the basics, or the standards.
It's known. It's standard.
Standard is not the basics, but the standards.
This is a known,
standard requirements.
This is a known quantity. Call centers are a great example of that they operate in that realm, because you call up and they go, yep, I know exactly how to do this.
Exactly.
I've got a document that goes step 1, step 2, step 3, and they go
done. It's like, for example, let's say if you bring the kit shot, it's the standard. Like wide shot, mid shot, close-ups.
That
was standard. That's it. That was the shots, we were doing. It's like, because we know exactly what to, camera, setup, done. And then next.
Boom.
Because there is no like crane shots or specific shots or like,
of course,
one takes or nothing like that. It's just very standard basic shots,
You go, we know how to do.
Exactly.
We can do this quickly.
That's right.
So you then go up to moving anti-clockwise, you're up to top right, and that quadrant is called the complicated quadrant. And that is for stuff where you, as a organisation, let's say, or a production, go, oh, we've never done this before, but other people have done it.
Yes.
Right. So it's known, but it's not known to us.
Yes.
And so that is the realm of experts,
Yep.
where you go, oh, cool, we need to do some underwater shots. Therefore, I'm going to bring in a underwater cinematographer
Yes.
for a week's worth of work to help us do this thing that we've never done before.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, so you're being a little bit more creative than you are in the clear domain.
Yeah.
So you're doing some fancier stuff.
Yeah.
But you're still doing stuff that other people have done before.
Yeah.
It's not really new. It's not really innovative.
Exactly.
So then you move, keep going anti-clockwise, and
Yep.
you go across to top left.
Yep.
And that quadrant is called the complex quadrant, right? And that quadrant is, we've got something we want to do and nobody's done it before.
Yeah.
And so we are going to try
Yes.
and do it.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the space of innovation. We're doing things new. And this is the realm of what we call safe to fail experiments.
Yep.
So you go, I don't know how to do this, but I've got an idea of how we might be able to do this. So you have a hypothesis.
That's right.
As you would say in science. And you go, okay, cool. So let's design an experiment that we can run to test this hypothesis.
Yes.
So, what's a crazy thing you might want to do? Have a camera come through a skylight.
Yes.
Orson Welles style.
Oh yeah.
In Citizen Kane, where the camera comes up and goes through like a big neon sign, and then
drops down.
Yeah, but it gets to the skylight, and they
Okay.
didn't have the means to travel through the skylight.
Oh right.
So
okay.
it fades from one shot into a next shot.
Next shot, okay, okay.
Whereas nowadays we go, ooh, maybe there is a way.
Yeah.
We can do this. So you go, what's an experiment I can run that allows me to test whether that's
Yes.
possible?
Yes.
And the idea is, because you don't know here, your expectation is we're going to try something and it's probably going to fail.
Yeah. Because still we don't know.
Because we don't know. Yeah. And so you try it, you fail, and having failed, that failure creates a feedback loop,
Exactly.
which allows you to go, okay, well, that didn't work because of X.
Yep.
So maybe if we try this other thing, maybe
might
that will
work.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the failure informs you and teaches you, and you learn and you
Yes.
try and you experiment and you gradually get there.
Yep.
There's one more
The left.
quadrant, which is bottom left, and that's called the chaos
Yeah.
quadrant. And that is the realm of war zones and natural disasters.
Yep.
And so that's where I'm in a situation, and if I do nothing, something disastrous will happen. Like, for instance, I will die. I'll be shot by the enemy and die. Or this volcano lava will pour
It's
over me.
gonna-
And
yeah.
but I don't know enough to know what to do. And so your only choice in that circumstance is to just do something.
Yeah. To experiment.
Yeah.
experiment, yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah, but also
I
you
might-
need more time to experiment.
yeah. So in the complex domain, you're able to design a hypothesis.
Yeah.
So you go, what about this? And have a discussion about it. In chaos, in a war zone, you don't have time to do that.
Yes.
You've just got to make a decision and go.
Yeah.
And so you just go, right, let's go this way. Maybe we're going to go into enemy fire and die,
Yes.
but
Yes.
maybe
yeah.
we're not. And you go that way and you go, oh shit, the enemy. And
That's right.
you've learned something.
Yeah.
And so you turn around. And so it's act first, think second.
Yes.
Whereas complex is think first and then act second.
Like it happens, like even on sets, sometimes you guys doesn't matter us or other team, like they have a scene they're gonna shoot this way,
Yep.
but for some reason they can't. They have to change it.
Yep.
So on the fly they have to
Adjust.
adjust.
Yep.
So that's what you're coming for, because that will be chaos. It's because already you had something in mind, but it's not gonna work,
Yep.
and then you have to decide. Okay, should we do that, or try something else?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So it's kind of similar to that.
similar. Yeah. It really is the realm of life and death danger. But yeah, there are plenty of circumstances where you go on set and you do something that you think will work and it doesn't work. And
Yes.
so you have to stop and try something else
Yes.
and experiment.
Yeah, like I work on the Fall Guy,
Yep.
because a lot of stunt driving, it's a lot of risk involved
Yes.
and a lot of calculation involved for the car going to jump,
Yeah.
from the ramp through the space shuttle.
Okay, cool. Yep.
So it was weeks of practicing jump, because they had built another ramp
Yep.
for the driver to practice.
Yep.
and then like weeks of practicing doing that, organizing
Yep.
all the safety,
Yep.
yeah, and then of course they pulled it off, but just weeks of work
To get there.
to
Yeah.
get there.
So that I think is a really great example.
Yeah.
The other one I think of is Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
Where they've got the guys on the big poles that bend down whilst their
Yes.
cars are driving along, and that again was the same thing. Like they had this idea of maybe we could do that,
Yeah.
but they didn't know if they could.
Exactly.
And so they experimented. They had months and months of going, what is a safe way we can try this? Let's, I mean, it'd be like going, I need to jump the car through the space shuttle. Let's do a small jump first.
Yeah.
Now let's do a bigger one. Now let's do a bigger one.
Exactly.
And we're edging up. And it's like when you're doing stunts
Yep.
where safety is involved,
Exactly.
you are forced into that approach.
Yeah.
You have to do that. Because if you screw something up, you
Yeah.
hurt somebody or you kill somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
But if you really want to innovate in all areas, the trick here is to take that experimental thinking
Yes.
and go, how can we apply that in art department, in
Yeah.
wardrobe,
Yeah.
in camera department, in
Exactly.
grip and,
All of it.
grip and lighting,
Yeah.
all of it. And I do think that Oppenheimer is an amazing example of in-camera effects, which was
Yes.
camera department going, let's try stuff.
Yeah.
We've got this kind of vision of what we'd like the images to kind of look like, but we don't know how to do that. So we've got to start experimenting
Yes.
with something. And
Yep.
so, yeah.
Experiment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like same as the Fall Guy, like all the action stuff. Say like 98%, I would say,
Yep.
were all in camera.
Wow. Yeah, cool.
Like few of course VFX, but
Yep.
most of them it was camera.
Yep.
Like one of the scariest one, this stunt guy, he did the free fall from the helicopter
Oh, wow.
twice.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the
Yep.
I know the car is of course is dangerous as well,
Yeah.
but the free fall is free fall. That's
It's
free
very
fall.
dangerous. Yeah.
That's very dangerous.
Yeah.
So
There's a
whole
reason.
day was just before they did anything, just
Check and check.
check and check and check and
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
I think there's a reason why we're not in the stunt department.
No, but that's the risk. That's like
Yeah.
very very like one of the biggest risk involved.
Yeah.
Like
So let me take this idea of experiments and try and make it a little bit more
Sure.
more practical. So imagine you're a line producer and you're looking at a script and you're going through line by line and you're budgeting.
yes,
The tendency as a line producer, as you want to be, is to assume everything is in the clear domain. Where
Yeah.
you go, you'll go to a DP or a stunt person or art department and go, how long will it take to do this? Or how much will it cost to build this thing?
yes,
And if you are expecting to get the exact answer, that is exactly how much it will cost or how long it will take, and for that to be exactly it, by definition, you're playing it safe.
yes,
Like if that's what you expect people to give you, the only way they can give you that sort of estimate is by playing it safe and going and taking no risks. So
Yeah.
going, yeah, I can do it for this amount of money if we just do
yeah,
wide master, close up,
yes, yes.
that sort of thing. Or art department going, well, we won't build anything.
Yes.
We'll just buy stuff off the shelf.
Off the shelf, yes.
Right. So immediately you've
Reduce
forced.
the cost. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you've got an answer on cost and time, but you have done that by chasing out any chance of innovation.
yeah. You're playing safe.
You're playing safe, yeah. So a different question to ask is to go, if you were to, go, there's a thing that you want to achieve, and we recognise that you don't know how to achieve it. How many experiments do you think you would need to run to be able to work it out?
Yeah,
It's a different question.
that is a good. Yeah,
And if you go, let's say you're a stunt department, and you go, well, we think we need to iterate on this 5 times, and or we want to allow five times worth of iterations, or maybe 6 times, and the kind of the setup for each of those is a week.
Yep.
There's a 6-week window,
Yes.
and that you can
Exactly.
you can put a number
yeah,
on.
Exactly.
But what you're recognizing there is that, at the end of that 6 weeks, there's a range of outcomes that could occur. So one is we worked it out
Yes.
and it's cool.
Yeah.
Another is we actually worked it out really quickly and we went beyond that and we made it even better.
Yeah.
Or we worked it out quickly and we went cool and we moved on to something
Yes.
else
Yes.
and we saved some money.
Exactly.
Or we invested time in a different thing and made that better
Yeah.
when we hadn't intended to invest in that thing.
Exactly. Like, for example, recently we did the short film,
Yeah.
The Bread,
Yep.
was like stunt was involved.
Yes. Lots of people
Lots of
fighting in the
fighting.
back of a van.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So actually, 6 weeks or but around that time, like that much time before we shooting, they were rehearsing
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
because they did because no one knows how they had to choreograph.
Yep.
So they had to find the type of fight,
Yep.
how it's going to work in a van.
Yep.
So they had to do that
Yep.
6 weeks before.
Yeah.
So because no one knows what they're going
How
to
to do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that's like they had to come up or innovate that the fight scene and
yeah.
the choreographer in
Yeah.
in a safe way,
Yeah.
and then pull it off. And then we did.
Yeah, cool. And I think that's a nice segue into the other point to make, which is that like production doesn't start on the first day of shooting.
Yeah.
Production starts before that when you're
Pre-production.
we call it
Yeah.
pre-production, but it really is like it's experimenting. It's not just planning. It's
Yeah.
testing.
Yes.
Test.
Yes. Yes.
So you're the line producer. You're putting together budget.
Yep.
An approach to create innovation is to go to your departments and go, how much time do you want for testing prior to shooting? And, it might be a question of, if I give you more time to test before we produce,
Yep.
do you think we could shorten the shooting window?
Definitely.
I mean, maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
But sometimes,
It will help.
yeah,
Yep.
if we go, we've worked out how to do things.
Yep.
So then when we go to the shoot, we're just executing what we now absolutely know works.
Yeah.
So in pre-production, we're in the complex domain,
Yes.
so that once we move to shooting, we're back in the clear domain
Yes.
because we know
Yeah.
exactly what we're going to do.
I believe also the director
Yep.
is the main guy.
Yep.
He knows what shots he wants or
Yep.
what innovative shots he wants. And then that's it should come from the director, not in my opinion. Not line
Yeah,
producer, I understand he's the money man or he's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
budget guy. I understand, but because the director and DP has to do all of that
Yeah.
and tell the line producer, okay, we need this much time.
Yeah.
Make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because
I think it does.
that's because line producer doesn't know what they want to what they want to achieve with scenes or the shots,
Yeah.
the breakdowns.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, makes sense. So if I put it a slightly different way, the director is the owner of the overarching vision.
Yes.
So the director is the one that goes, this is the level of greatness that
Yeah.
we want to achieve.
Yeah.
And the poor line producers go, how much is this going to cost?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
But that vision then drives each of the individual departments to go, how do we achieve that level of greatness? How do we deliver on that vision?
Yeah.
And as the line producer, you then go, well, if I want them to deliver on that vision,
Yes.
I need to create the
Yep.
space and time for them to run experiments.
Yes.
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because without that, all we are doing, I've said this before and I'm saying it again, is all we are doing is just reproducing what other people have done
That's
before.
right.
We're not doing anything new.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
create their
Like,
time.
for example, I was just listening another podcast, I
Yep.
should say, and they were interviewing DP. He did the Maestro,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
and yeah, like some of the scenes, they had to they experiment 3 years before
Oh, yeah.
because they wanted everything on a
Yep.
in camera.
Yeah.
So
okay.
they had to experiment, and then and eventually they did experiment, and then it worked out,
Yeah.
and then they did it, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody turns up on set and goes, oh, I've got a crazy idea for something
Yeah.
that's never been done before.
Exactly.
Let's just do it.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's not like
It is very, very rarely possible to
Yeah.
to
To
do
pull it
that
off, yeah.
on the fly.
exactly. Definitely, like certain things you have to experiment. Basically,
Yeah.
You have to.
And you have to
experiment.
create the
Yeah.
space to do that.
Exactly.
Cool. So that was the first thing
Yep.
that I think you can do to create the environment for innovation. Here's the second thing, and
Yep.
this goes a little bit back to some of the stuff we've spoken about already. And what the second thing is so I think the best way to kind of explain this is to go innovation is the implementation of ideas. It's creating ideas. It's finding solutions.
Yes.
It's problem solving.
Yep.
It's all that sort of stuff, and that happens at its fastest
Yep.
with a team of people.
Yes. 100%.
Right? It's rarely a case that you have a single person that locks themselves in the bathroom and sits there going, I need ideas. I need ideas. And goes, I'm going to do. Oh, yes, that's how I do it. I know that'll work. In reality, the way ideas come is people bouncing stuff
Yes.
off each other.
Exactly.
And there's a specific word for this that's often used, which is exaption,
Yep.
which is a silly word, but it's and again it's like really smart people using big words just to
Yes.
sound impressive. The idea is reasonably simple. Exaption is the radical reuse of something.
Yep.
So going, here's a thing that exists over here in this context.
Yes.
Let's take that and let's do that exact same thing or something very similar to that
Yes.
in a completely new
environment.
context.
Yeah.
And all of us have seen this before in every action disaster movie that's ever been made.
Yeah.
Just about. So the circumstance where you've got your heroes, they've gone into battle, they've been knocked down by the enemy, they're at the point of giving up, the thing's going to explode, everybody on Earth is going to die. Oh my goodness, what can we do? And then somebody says, hang on, I've got a great idea. You know how this thing happens over in this situation.
Yes.
What if we were to take that and do that here in this situation, but 10 times bigger?
Yeah.
And they all go, that might just work.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, let's do it. And they do it and it works perfectly first time. And,
Yeah.
and everybody's saved.
Yeah.
So that's exaption.
Yes.
That is that exact thing. Now, in reality, it never works first time.
No.
But the idea and that process of going, what if,
Yeah.
what if? And that best occurs when you've got a team of people.
That's right. And then bouncing ideas.
Who trust each other, who have a
Exactly.
voice,
Yeah.
who can challenge each other and go, no, what
Yeah.
you're saying won't work.
Exactly.
I think we should do this. And the problem in film, and we've talked about this,
Yes.
is that so many times you go on set and you are working in a team
Yep.
for the first time
That's right.
with a whole bunch of people that have
Yes.
never worked before,
Yep.
worked together before.
Exactly.
So the question then becomes is if you want that team to get to that place where they're really good at working with each other, where they have that open communication, where they bounce ideas and they
Yes.
can come up with things, how do you get them to that point? Like, especially when
Never work together. Yeah.
they've never worked together.
Yeah, that's
How would you do that?
um, that's a good question, man. I believe like if you have a kind of system, like in my opinion, so it will work because you tell them, okay, so maybe first you meet them before
Okay.
before the shoot,
Yep.
you know, meet and greet, so get together, chat,
Yep.
and talk about it, what's going to happen.
Yep.
That will help
Yep.
for the newcomers, Um, once you they work with you, they know exactly how you work,
Yep.
and then next time they get better, and
Yeah.
then better and better. That's my opinion. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that will eventually,
Yes.
it will. You guys are like just everyone will be
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. So yeah, the
It's
first
like,
thing.
for example, just very example, we've done like 3-4 projects now together.
Yep.
So the first time we met,
Yep.
and then now it's like, just we know exactly how to work with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're starting to form a type of permanent team.
Permanent team,
Like
exactly,
a long lived
exactly,
team. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And
Because that takes time.
that absolutely takes time.
Yeah.
And and this is what other industries have learnt, that
Yes.
that to create innovative teams,
Yep.
you need to have teams that are long lived.
Exactly. Something simple, like nothing to do, with film, but even when I used to have cafes, or even I work with in cafes,
Yep.
to adjust that environment takes 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simply, like,
Yep.
doesn't matter what. When I was mechanic, same thing.
Yep.
When you go to a different, say,
Different shop.
shop,
Yep.
takes 2 weeks to
Learn where
settle
everything
down,
is.
and then
Yeah.
how they work,
Yeah.
to get to know the team.
Yep.
Exactly the same thing with film.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So I think the first idea you mentioned there is meet and greet.
Yes,
So yeah, before a camera's pulled out of the case
Exactly.
or anything, yeah, get everybody together to meet each other.
That's
and,
right. That's right.
Take them to the pub, buy
Pub
them a
and some
meal.
drinks, and then eat. Yeah,
Yeah, even better is spend time talking with each other, getting people talking with each other about how they're going to work together.
yeah,
So having deliberate conversations around, hey, these are the processes and standards
Yes.
that we want to use, and we kind of touched on that last week talking about flow.
yes,
Then when you're in there, your processes for daily briefing,
exactly.
daily debrief
Yeah.
to find ways to improve. They're all things that bring teams
Everyone
together,
together.
and
Yeah.
help them click. And you will over time develop that trust.
Yeah, exactly.
The communication will flow more freely.
That's exactly right.
and that will become a team who starts to ideate and bounce ideas off each other.
Exactly.
Part of the trick here is the relationship between how fast something needs to happen
Yep.
versus versus giving people the time
Yeah.
to have ideation conversations.
Yeah.
So if your schedule is so tight,
Yes.
I mean, you're the kid show. You're in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
execution.
You just got to push through
Like
everything.
that is just so bam, 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 go, go,
Yeah.
go. Ideation doesn't occur.
Yes.
Uh,
Like for example, even for that, the costume, the kids
Yep.
they came with their
They're
costumes.
normal clothes. Yeah.
Only they provide was like tie,
Yep.
and then like glasses and a few things like that, hats.
And that was it.
Like, that was it.
Yeah.
It's like not even
Yeah.
no makeup.
Yeah.
I think sorry they did the like the producer, one of the producers, or they had another person to help them,
Yeah,
helping
yeah,
them out.
okay.
So they did like small things like that.
Yep.
But otherwise, like no makeup, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the difference.
Yeah, that's right. So this, if things are so pressed on set that you've just got to make
Yeah.
decisions and move, you won't innovate. So again, this comes back to, if I can create pre-production time for these teams,
Yes.
that that allows for innovation to occur there in an unpressured
Yes.
space. But then when we go into shooting, I need to create a schedule that has got that buffer contingency in there that allows innovation to occur.
Yes.
So the way I like to work is to go, right, we've got this setup to do. Let's get in there. Let's be fast. Let's go boom, 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 and get it set up. But then, let's say that takes half an hour.
Yeah.
Then, if you've got another 15 minutes, that allows you to stop, step back, look at the screen. How does it look? That looks pretty good. What if? What if we added this? What if we did that? What if we? And then innovation is occurring.
Yeah.
Right? And
bouncing ideas.
Yeah. And, 15 minutes is not a lot of time.
No.
Like that's still plenty to go. Let's just fiddle with that. Let's tweak it. And let's see what we can do.
How it's going to work. And then,
Yeah. Let me check my notes.
So it's like, even for, say, set designers,
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to build, say, whole apartment.
Yeah.
Or whole kitchen.
Yeah.
So they have to do it from scratch.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with the design, how it's going to look. That's going to take weeks of work.
Yeah.
Because it's actually, someone can live in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. So that takes time. So they need that time to build that.
Yeah.
That's, again, they're innovating something for that specific film.
Yeah. And then you go on set, it's set up.
Exactly.
But you're still looking at the monitor going, okay, that frame's interesting. What if I move this prop?
Yes.
What if I...
Exactly.
And especially if you can get to the point where you go, if I just move, let's say, here's a prop. If I just move that here and that, not only go, oh, that looks better, but sometimes there's something like that you can do which has tremendous story significance. Yeah. And you go, oh, man, that really just lifts the emotion of that particular moment.
Exactly.
And that's what every department needs.
That's right.
Just that little bit of breathing space to stop, take a breath. And I often do that where I'm looking at the screen and I look around and I go, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Has anybody got any ideas?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you never know when somebody go, well, what about? And you go, holy heck, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
That's
great.
That makes a huge difference.
Yep.
So, yeah. Cool. So that's it. Let me summarize.
Yeah, sure.
Can I summarize?
Of course.
So we've talked about innovation, and we started off by talking about this spectrum from execution or speed through to innovation.
Yep.
And the first thing is decide which end you want to be at and be at the ends. Yep. Don't be in the middle because middle is just what everybody else is doing. We talked about that. Then we said there are two things that you can do to, like, if you want to be at this innovation end, there are two things you should concentrate on to create an environment where innovation can occur.
Yep.
So the first one is creating the time for experiments to happen. Safe to fail. Let's try something that may not work.
Yep.
And see what we can stumble upon. Pre-production is the ideal place to do that.
Absolutely.
But we also talked about, whilst you're shooting, having enough slack in the schedule to be able to get set up, take a breath.
Look at it.
Yeah. Stop.
And then bounce ideas again.
Bounce ideas. Yeah.
Yep.
Then the second thing we talked about is that innovation occurs out of ideation, which is about teams bouncing ideas off each other.
Yes.
And that only happens once a team has gotten to know each other and has worked together long enough to be able to do that.
Yep.
And we talked about things like meet and greets,
yes,
being daily briefings, daily kind of retrospective debriefs, how can we
Exactly,
improve, using those things to try and accelerate that. But even better, and we didn't really talk about that, but even better is, and this to me is a bit more of a big picture structural question for the whole industry.
Yep.
Is there ways we can create long-lived permanent teams?
Permanent teams, yeah. Yeah.
If our goal here, if our vision here is to innovate, is to punch our weight with Oppenheimer, with Barbie, with everything everywhere all at once.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
We can do that.
Yes.
But we can't do that in an environment which is just all about speed, and
Yes.
controlling the dollar. We can only do that when we have brilliant teams
That's right.
of people who have the space to experiment
Yep.
and try things.
Yeah. 100%.
But the payback
Yep.
for that is that we do create stuff
Yeah, exactly.
that generates a far greater return
Yeah.
than it otherwise would, because what we have created and what we've achieved is just of a far higher standard of
Yes.
creativity and brilliance
Exactly.
than we otherwise would have.
100%. Yeah. It's all teamwork.
It is. Everything is
Absolutely.
teamwork.
Everything's teamwork. Yeah, like 100%. Like once everyone is unified,
Yep.
and then they know exactly what to do.
Yep.
Once they know the script, okay, the camera department,
Yep.
art department, sound, everyone
Yep.
knows what to do,
Yeah.
and then everything goes very smoothly.
Everything goes well.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool.
exactly, man.
Awesome.
So we have to thank some people,
We do.
our friends. David, thank you so much for doing the sound for us, and our DP, Mr. Nick. Thanks, man.
Mr. Ian.
Sorry, again, Mr. Ian, I'm sorry, I'm tired. Thank you, man. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it. So we're missing few team members today, but I'm sure they will be with us next time. But thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Then thank you, Nick.
My pleasure. Thank you, George. In our next episode, we will talk about estimation. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Estimation, yeah.
I know we will. And in the meantime, if you are enjoying what we're talking about and you're finding it helpful, please share it with other people, because I know that some of what we've talked about, particularly today, has been, we've touched on, hey, what are some things we can do to really change
Yes.
the whole industry?
Whole industry, yes.
How can we get better at an industry level? And
Yes.
George and I can't do that ourselves.
Yeah.
But if we, not just us, but all of us, start talking about some of these ideas,
Yes.
then stuff can happen. And so, so please share. Remember, we are on Instagram at Life on the Film Set. We're on Facebook at Life on the Film Set. We're on YouTube, Life on the Film Set. And we're on the web at www.lifeonthefilmset.com. So, please check those out if you haven't. And
leave us some feedback so we can go through as well. And then,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because, very keen to talk to anybody about any ideas
Ideas, yes.
or further input you might have to these discussions. So, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.